Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you, getting into my budget and going over the numbers of Paycheck 1, closing that out, and setting up Paycheck 2. So I'm going to do something really different. I know it was just 2 days ago that I set up Paycheck 1, but that was on the 1st of November. And I'm filming this on the 2nd of November in the evening. And then Friday the 3rd is when this video will go out, because that Friday is when my husband gets Paycheck 2. So I wanted to just kind of track some of the things over here on the first couple of days and then move to the next. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take these amounts here and I'm going to move them over here, because I shouldn't have counted them in Paycheck 1 as far as spending. Not that I'm not going to, but I had decided earlier that week 1 of the weekly check-in would be these exact numbers that I had here in Paycheck 1. So these are just going to move over to Paycheck 2. Now I have done some spending, but I'm not going to do a weekly check-in because it was only one day, and that was today. And it really didn't make sense since I just closed out my October budget on earlier this week on Halloween. I just did a weekly check-in, so we're not going to do that. We'll do that next week on the, let's see, what date is that? On the 9th. So I will, or actually it'll go up on the 10th. So I'll have a weekly check-in here. And then Paycheck 3 I'm actually going to put up on Friday instead of Saturday. And weekly check-in here, and then weekly check-in throughout the rest of the month. So in order to close this out, we're just going to total all the numbers that I have here. I only had a little bit of extra cash that came in. Apparently, I was trying to figure out how those plugins you put on your extensions on your computers for like Honey and Rakuten and stuff like that, when you're using those, how do you get the rebates? And I figured out that they actually, the one I used went through PayPal, and it had just, the rewards points had been sitting in PayPal that I could have cashed out a long time ago. I just didn't realize that it was in there because I don't use my PayPal that often. And because I was in there and I noticed it, I cashed it out, and it was $2.68. So that's the only additional that I didn't expect. And the 2-penny dividends, that's the only increase that I have for the income on our Paycheck 1, which is cool. A little extra change here and there is kind of cool. It definitely all adds up. So let's go ahead and total these numbers up right here, and I'll be right back. As a young girl, it feels we're mine. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to have more items to add here and other, and I was going to leave room for more, but nothing else happened in the first couple of days. So that's fine. That works out. So $4,889.39. I have a new pen, so it's going to show up a little darker than the rest of it. So, and then that's how much income that came in. These all happen like they always do on the first of the month. We are fine there. So I'm just going to keep this number the same. By not doing a weekly check-in and not counting this money towards this Paycheck 1 and moving it all to Paycheck 2, it will cover everything I need for Paycheck for week 1 and week 2 of the weekly check-in. So that's what I'm trying to do. Now I pulled this sticky note. I know I was planning on balancing forward $1,163.69, but obviously it's going to be a lot more than that because I'm not counting this, and we're just going to subtract these two numbers, and that's going to close this out. We played hide and seek for hours. All right, so that is going to balance forward in our checking account $1,916.39, and I'm going to need that in order to cover all the bills and all the spending and expenses that will be happening in Paycheck 2. So let's balance that number forward. I still have it on my calculator here. And this notebook, whew, is getting thick. Oops, not 3, 9. $1,916.39. And then my husband's salary $2,552.36. Now I'm not planning for any extra. I don't know of any extra, so I'm just going to put other at 0. And then if something comes through, or if I transfer funds from savings to the checking account, that is where I would be putting it. So now we are going into the bill section here. And these are the fixed expenses. These are the variable expenses. And what I'll be doing is doubling the variable compared to what I had in Paycheck 1. Because one, I'm moving all of that I thought I needed to put over here and I didn't, to Paycheck 2. And I'll be doubling this, so it would be for 2 weeks. Because Paycheck 2 lasts for 2 whole weeks until the 17th. So 3rd through the 17th. So that is where that is. Let's go ahead and get this number totaled here at the top, so I know exactly how much income we are working with. All right, so still quite a bit of money, but it is definitely for the bills because majority of them happen in this paycheck period and they need to be covered. All right, $4,468.75. So I'm gonna leave my notebook open because it's more flat this way, and I can write probably a lot easier without the extra bulk that's on this side. So Paramount Plus is $6.99, and that's a streaming service that we just have put on the credit card. Greater Europe Mission, that's what GEM stands for, and that's $259.75. We support a specific missionary group, and we love them. They're great people, and they're doing amazing work where they're at, and we just love supporting our missionaries. Roth IRA, I will be transferring $171 into a savings account, high yield savings money market account, to contribute for the 2024 contribution time period. So there's that, and then our tithe to the salary check to the church is $256. And then YouTube is supposed to be $22.99. So we got YouTube Unlimited or Premium. And that way we don't have commercials and stuff that are aggravating and all those things. And so we've started we've already finished our 1 month free trial, and in Paycheck 2 time period we have to pay the first month for the streaming service. So there we go. HP Instant Ink is $6.35. That's for my printer, ink, and all that good stuff. Geico, I'm going to have to look at that. I know it's $3.87. And then AT&T, that's $282.82. All right, so that is the fixed numbers there. And then I know my electric and water bill, I do put it under the variable just in case those bills don't come in before I get to this time period. But I got my emails and I got my statements in the mail that told me exactly how much the electric and water are. So I budgeted the actual, and then that'll be the same number as the actual. Which reminds me, I have to write the check for that one, $27.67, and put it in the mail for tomorrow. $137.74 is the electric. It did go down about $10 or so, $10, so that's good. We had cool enough weather that the air conditioning didn't need to come on hardly at all, while it was still warmer in later part of the year. So that's good. So I do know I had planned $400 for grocery household for 1 week. So that means I need to double that for 2 weeks. So $800 for grocery household. $125, that's $250, I think. $125. Yeah, $250. So $250 for restaurants. $250 for miscellaneous. I'm trying to stay within $500 for the month. So this will be the first half of the month, and then the second half of the month, and then we'll go into December, which I can't believe that is almost already here. How are you guys doing on holidays and Christmas buying and Thanksgiving prep and food and all that stuff? Have you planned anything? Do you know what you want to do? I haven't thought about nothing except for gifts, and I have to start early with gifts because I have one son that was born on Christmas Eve a long time ago, and so we've always made sure he gets to open something on his birthday, and he gets stuff on his and on Christmas. Now, yes, my boys are adults, but they are autistic, and they still kind of seem like they're younger than what they actually are in a lot of ways. So they still expect these things, and we still love loving them that way. Gasoline, we had $75, so that should be $150 times 2. There we go. Yeah, it's $150 for 2 weeks. Part of the time during Paycheck 2, we will be traveling, so we will have money from our vacation fund that will be covering some of the gas costs and things like that. So this is just something to make sure we have when we're back, and we have enough money to pay for gas. Co-pays, I have $25 a week, so that's going to be $50 a week, or for 2 weeks. And then always zero for unbudgeted. We don't budget for any unexpected stuff that are pretty pricey. I have miscellaneous, and that's just things that don't fall in a specific category, one of my 5 categories. But unbudgeted is something really pricey that you really have to think about, where is the money coming from, not a $5, $10 item or $20 item. We're talking about like $50, $100, $150 or more dollars on an unexpected purchase. Where's that money actually coming from? And really have to investigate. So that's what unbudgeted is all about. So let's go ahead and total these numbers up and see where we're at. So offshore, playful and free, without a care in the world. I was one rich. Okay, so I have $1,167 or $76.77 for my fixed expenses. I did go back. I caught myself. I wrote a 9. It's supposed to be a 6. I do know I did that one wrong. And then I have $1,665.41 for my variable expenses. So we are good to go there. So let's take the income, $4,468.75 minus $1,176.77 and minus $1,665.41. All right, so this is going to give me an estimate of, let's see, leftover $1,626.57. There we go. That is the balance forward from Paycheck 2 to Paycheck 3. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that the way the calendar is kind of pushing itself around. When you go to your calendar, typically a typical month for me would be the 1st, and then somewhere around the 6th, 7th, and 8th will be Paycheck 2, and then it shifts everything, and then like Paycheck 3 is on the 20th through the 24th. But because everything is so much at the beginning, it's shifted things for me. And that's how we get that shift, where we get an extra, if you get paid every other Friday, you get that magic month or an extra check, because you get 26 paychecks throughout the year, and it kind of breaks down easier when you have that extra month. So that's why the shift happens, and why the numbers kind of look like, well, you've got plenty of money left over. Most cases, I would not have this large amount. A lot of this is going to have to go to Paycheck 3, which is back here, and there are more bills here that are normally on Paycheck 2 that aren't normally on Paycheck 3. So usually Paycheck 3, let's see, October. Yeah, I mean, it had, well, it did have the electric bill, but usually it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Usually it has 6. The electric bill is not normally one of them, but the rest of the 6 are typically on Paycheck 3. And even that, sometimes they're not. So having a lot more than 6 here tells me I definitely need to make sure I have, at a minimum, this amount balancing forward to go to Paycheck 3, so that I have enough to cover all of this. And you can kind of guesstimate how much you're going to need here ahead of time if you wanted to, just by taking the numbers and seeing how much you have to have. You're going to know what your salary is going to be or what your paycheck's going to be, and then take the numbers and find the difference. That'll tell you exactly how much you need for balancing forward from Paycheck 2. So that way, if you want to know the buffer you're checking out, typically I would count this as a buffer, but this is not this time, just because of how the bills have shifted and there's more at the end of the month than normal. Not that it's more bills, it's just there's a longer list that has to be paid during that time period, or that is going to be auto draft during that time period. So these are things you have to pay attention to when you're budgeting. When are things happening and why are they happening? Which is why I absolutely advocate for a bills calendar, because then you can see when the pay comes in, what bills are going to be paid under what paycheck, and if you have to shuffle things around, you'll know where you have more disposable income at one part of the month and not so much the other part of the month. So it's definitely something you have to look for every time you do your budget, and it's easy to spot. It only takes a minute to figure out, and once you do, then you can make informed decisions on how to proceed for the rest of the month. So that is that. I have closed out Paycheck 1, I've set up Paycheck 2, and we're ready to go for the next couple of weeks as far as our paycheck budget. Next week, about the 9th, 10th, you'll see our weekly check-in, and we'll go over all the numbers then, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Hope you have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.
Daydreamer.